Hi friends, good morning. Today we are going to move on to the next letter of the alphabet, which is the letter B. B is for blue. So the materials you're going to need today is your piece of paper. You're also going to need something to write with. You're going to need blue food coloring. Very important. Blue food coloring. You're going to need a straw or two. And you're going to need a bowl filled with soapy water. Now the first thing we're going to do for this project is we are going to write the letter B. B is for blue. You start with one long line going from top to bottom. One straight line. Now we're going to add two humps on it, connecting in the middle. One and two. And your B should look something like that. Doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but very similar. Enough that you know it says the letter B. I'm going to color mine in a little bit darker because I really want it to show up when I go ahead and do the next step of this project. Make it nice and colored in. I did the top. As you can see, I made it nice and dark. And I'm also going to do that for the bottom. Very carefully. And we are just about done. There. Now I have a nice big B. I'm going to set that to the side for now because I'm going to need this bowl next. You're going to, if you are old enough, take the food coloring and you're just going to drip a couple drops into the food color. You can make this very dark or you can make it a little dark. It is up to you, but you don't need to use the entire bottle. Next, I'm going to take one of my straws, bendy straw. The end that I'm going to leave in the water, I'm going to use to stir that food color all the way into the water. Mix it round and around and around until all the bubbles on the top are nice and blue. Okay. The next part of this project is very tricky but also very messy. You are going to blow and make bubbles until it reaches the top of your bowl. Remember not to suck in, you need to blow out into the bowl. Just like so. Now I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to rest it on the top of those bubbles. And I'm going to wait about 30 seconds. What I am looking for is I want to start seeing some of the water come through my paper. So it takes almost 30 seconds for that to start happening. I see it start coming through. Now I'm going to lift it off and you have some blue bubbles on your paper. Now I'm going to swirl it around again and I'm going to do the same thing. All the way to the top. Take my paper and I'm going to drop it, press it onto those bubbles for 30 seconds. And I'm going to wait for the water to start coming through the paper. I can hear the bubbles popping underneath. Okay, and I'm going to slide it off. That one was a really big bubble. Look at that. Big blue bubble. 3 words that begin with the letter B. Big, blue, and bubble. Let's do it 1 or 2 more times. And you can do this as many times as you want until you have enough blue dye on the paper that you are satisfied with how it looks. It should have sort of like a bubbly, marbly effect to it. But again, this is super fun. Kids love doing this at home. Just be very careful not to suck into the straw and drink the soap. It does not taste good. Okay, now I've got my bubbles. I'm going to press it down and wait for the bubbles to start coming through the paper. I'm not pressing the paper all the way down into the water. I am simply letting the water and bubbles do what they have to do by being patient. Okay, that one was a big bubble. One big bubble right there. I'm going to do it one more time, and this time I'm actually going to slide my paper and let the bubbles sit on the paper. This is a different technique that you can do instead of holding the paper over top of the bubbles that are already popping. Okay, now this is a little trickier. You can see my bubbles. I'm going to slide and let them sit on the paper until they're all done popping. And you can keep doing this over and over and over until you have tons of little bubbles all over your paper. I'm going to show you that technique one more time. This time I'm going to get lots of bubbles. And I'm going to do it very quickly. Quick slide. Now as you can see, I have lots of bubbles on my paper this time. The more food coloring that you put in the water with the soap and bubbles, the better it will show up on your paper. I did about 5 or 6 drops in my bowl, and as you can see, it only showed up in a light blue color. Now let's see what happens if I add a little more food coloring. Do a couple more. I did about 7 more drops, so I doubled the amount this time. I'm going to mix it up really, really, really super good. I can already see in my bowl, I don't know if you can see, that the bubbles on the top are already getting darker. Okay, let's try. Did lots of bubbles this time. And we're going to quickly slide it on the paper. Lots of bubbles. Again, looking underneath to see if I see the bubbles coming through the paper. And those bubbles were extra foamy this time. Lots of blue on my paper. And as you can see, that time it turned out a lot darker. It almost matches my shirt. So I'm going to do it one more time, and then I think I am completely done with mine. Again, you can do as many bubbles as you want. You can sit here doing this all day. You can make tons of different colors. This is a really cool project to, create that marbling effect while playing with food dye, while doing sensory things. You guys will really enjoy doing this at home. Last time. Again, I got lots of bubbles, and I'm going to quickly slide it all on the paper. As you can see, I got a nice big bubble there. Going to push some of this down, and it's really sticking to the paper now. Very, very, very blue. And now this you can let dry, and we can hang it on our walls, and it resembles big blue bubbles, the letter B. Big blue bubbles. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have lots of fun doing this at home. Again, parents, this is very messy. Make sure you do this with your kids at home. Try to use a soap that's non-toxic. I have seen some people use shampoo instead of using, like dish soap or hand soap. I don't know if there is a difference between the two, other than I know one is sometimes non-toxic while the other is not meant to be near the mouth at all. So as parents, be wary of things like that doing this project. Try it yourself at home. You might enjoy it too. I personally think it's a fun project even for adults. Thank you for watching, guys, and tune in tomorrow and we'll do our letter C.